Google has announced a massive $15 billion investment to set up its largest artificial intelligence hub outside the United States in Visakhapatnam, here in Andhra Pradesh. Now, the announcement was made on Tuesday, with Google Cloud CEO Thomas Kurian calling it the company's largest AI hub investment anywhere in the world outside the US. Now, the upcoming 1 gigawatt data center campus will be a key part of Google's global network designed to power advanced AI workloads, cloud services, and digital innovation. Now, earlier, Andhra Pradesh officials had estimated the project at around $10 billion, but Google has now confirmed a higher $15 billion investment to support long-term capacity and sustainability goals. Google CEO Sundar Pichai spoke with Prime Minister Narendra Modi about the project, and in a post on X, Pichai called the plans for the first ever Google AI hub in Visakhapatnam a landmark development. Google will partner with Adani Enterprises to develop the massive campus, which will include co-investments in clean energy generation, new transmission lines, and advanced energy storage systems to ensure sustainable operations of the data center. An estimated 5,000 to 6,000 direct jobs will be created at the AI hub in Vizag. Now, the investment highlights the growing competition among tech giants to build next-generation data centers capable of handling massive AI workloads. Globally, Google plans to spend as much as $85 billion this year on expanding its data infrastructure, and Visakhapatnam is set to become a critical part of that global AI network. Let's listen in to all the speakers there at that signing ceremony yesterday.
This AI hub will be a very important contribution to the AI mission goals in 3 different ways. First, skilling. We all know that AI is fundamentally changing the way the world moves today. The second thing is about the undersea subsea cable. My request is that Andaman is a very strategic location. Singapore is today all choked. Why can't we make Andaman as the next big?
Your creativity, your speed. That is very, very important. Just now, our friend has shown transformational changes in information technology. Fortunately, I was associated all these phases. From iTech City and IT promotion, started in Hyderabad, that is late 90s. Today, 2025, we are talking about data center and artificial intelligence.
Today, though, we are incredibly proud with the support of the Government of India and the state of Andhra Pradesh. We're very pleased to announce a new gigawatt scale AI hub in Visakhapatnam. It's the largest AI hub that we are going to be investing in anywhere in the world outside of the US. It represents a capital investment over the next 5 years of $15 billion.
All right, so let's get an expert view on what this $15 billion investment, the largest made by Google outside of the US for a data center or an AI hub, means for India and means for Indian entrepreneurs. Manish Maheshwari, General Partner, BAT VC, joins me this morning. Good morning, Manish. Pleasure having you here on News 9. First up, just simplify for our viewers, what exactly is an AI hub? Is it just a stack of servers that help store data and offer AI the compute power to process user queries on, let's say, a ChatGPT or a Gemini?
So the way it is being positioned, it is way more than the data center. It also is positioned as something that will lead to innovation, skilling, etc. So clearly, the read I'm getting is that it is not just a pure data center where data is stored and processed. It's also, thinking about how that entire infrastructure can be used. So probably think about India-specific innovation and also, thinking about training models for India and perhaps also about, how they can help, the talent and skill set to improve in India with respect to AI. So I'm thinking about it more of a something which is beyond the data center.
What does this mean for Indian entrepreneurs? You're saying this is something which is going to help skilling and help in development of India-specific solutions. But will the cost of compute, for example, come down for Indian entrepreneurs and tech geeks? Or the cost is going to be pretty much the same because you're paying a service provider, and that service provider, whether his servers are in India or anywhere abroad, is not likely to make much of a difference?
See, there could be cost implications because if you are doing something local in India, the labor component of that cost will come down for sure, because clearly you will be able to do things at a much lower cost. At the same time, they are getting subsidized land infrastructure. So ultimately their cost of operating will also be lower. So your operating and management cost will come down. And my view would be that if they are working very closely with the government, they would also feel like it would be good for them to do things at a lower cost in India to help the entrepreneurial culture here. So in my view, I would see this as a positive, right? I mean, I would see that the cost will be lower here. Having said that, a big component of the compute is the chip cost. I think they will have to couple it up with they have to also think about how they can bring that cost down as well. So overall, I see a cost to be lower, but may not be very significantly lower unless they also make intervention on the chip side.
Right. So let's talk about the chip side for a little more. So the chips or the GPUs which will be needed to power these data centers, at the end of the day, a good chunk of that $15 billion is likely to flow back into the US economy for want of NVIDIA chips, given there's hardly any competition there. So how much of an advantage India are we talking about with this $15 billion investment?
Yeah, that is a great point. In fact, I mean, today, I think the entire world buys NVIDIA chips for processing, and I think there is not any substitute at this point in time. I also feel that India is now beginning to think about diversifying beyond that, and the question then becomes how soon they can do that. But until that happens, I would agree that a big part of this cost will go into NVIDIA's kitty. Until we have innovation on that front as well, in addition to the data. Just establishing data center will not solve that. You also have to think about the GPU side of things.
Right. And how much of this investment or this sort of focus on building an AI hub ties back to India's own quest for data sovereignty? Does this now mean that because these data centers are going to be based in a larger AI hub in the sovereign territory of India, India has complete sovereign right over that data, and India may decide to shut down access to that data if it intends to?
Yeah, I am not a legal expert on this, but I would believe that it would fulfill the data localization need, right? I mean, in the current situation, countries are getting stricter about where the data is moving and where it is getting processed. At least here, what we know for sure now is that this data center is located in India, and therefore it meets the local requirement of storage locally. Now, legally, what could happen and all that, I think you'll have to ask a legal expert. But I think it's a move in the right direction when you think about, India, the sovereign discussion that is happening about having rights over the whole development in the area of AI. I think this is a step closer to that from an India perspective.
All right. And I also want to talk about this, this larger fear that looms around data centers and AI hubs, that data centers are large energy guzzlers. And I was reading somewhere that a 1 gig data center like the one that Google has decided to invest in is as much as perhaps the entire city of Vizag when it comes to energy consumption. Now, who's going to make the investments on the energy side and on the distribution of energy? While Google is saying that the AI hub is going to be, in that sense, self-sustained, there are going to be enough, energy solutions as part of the AI hub. But then $15 billion doesn't seem enough to have pretty much, energy for investing in energy and its transmission, production and transmission for an entire city.
Yeah, no, I think that's a global discussion as to, how we can make this entire, data center kind of operations more energy efficient. And I think a lot of innovations are happening, but I agree with you that this will lead to energy consumption, but also you have to weigh it up against the benefits, right? I mean, from being a consumer of AI, this enables India to move towards become a global infrastructure node. It also lowers the latency, it enables sovereignty, and it also makes India a more competitive AI destination for everyone, right? And it has ecosystem and value chain capture advantages as well for the country. And not just that, it also is very strategic and also signals something very important in favor of India geopolitically. So while, yeah, I mean, energy consumption will go up, and I think there will be innovation around how to make it more efficient,
Yeah.
and that's happening globally, and I think India would benefit from that as well. But that doesn't mean that, we should not do these things. I would believe that the kind of partnership that is happening with the major business houses in India,
Yeah.
I think I also heard the name of Adani,
Exactly.
Airtel. I think there would also be a concerted effort, in my view, towards clean energy infrastructure, so that while we get the benefits, we can manage the downsides of the significant fossil fuel-based energy consumption.
Right. So let's talk about those corporate houses. Of course, the Adani Group bringing in the infrastructure expertise, potentially even the energy expertise and the sustainable energy expertise, and Airtel, Bharti Airtel, likely to bring in the telecom link to ensure low latency that you were talking about. But does this now mean that potentially the Adani Group is now right on top of the AI infrastructure boom in India? Because earlier, Reliance and Brookfield had announced data centers in both Mumbai as well as Chennai. We also heard from Hiranandani Group and Yoto make similar announcements. But now with this $15 billion deal, is it fair to assume that Adani Group is right on top when it comes to AI infrastructure in India?
Yeah, I would say that I'm glad to see some diversification versus like having the same name. So I think Adani is a new entrant in this game, in my view. But they have a solid track record in terms of building infrastructure. Look at the airports, look at the kind of ports they have built. And this is the next phase of any country's growth, is like how well they capture the upgradation of the technological infrastructure. Because I think in the future is not going to be physical infrastructure only. It is also going to be digital infrastructure. And digital infrastructure also has a physical leg, which is a data center, which is what this is.
Right.
So I think Adani has picked the right bet, in my view. And I think in my view, it does allow them to build their competency here. And I think if they do well, I think they will probably be doing more of it, not just in India, and also beyond India, because I think this is not going to be the end of it, right? I mean, just as that's happened in Visakhapatnam, it will happen in other cities in India, and also beyond India and other developing and other developed countries also.
Right. Okay, let's leave it at that this morning. Manish Maheshwari, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me there.